might feel really bad, but no, you're not the worst mother. This is the one that's going to change your life. Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I make videos about being a mom, but also discovering and staying true to who I am outside of being a mom. So if you are one tired and drained mother and you are ready to get your groove back, just keep watching and consider subscribing. We're going to be talking about things I wish I knew before I started breastfeeding, before I had my son, before I even bought the breast pump. Knowing all of this stuff would have helped me so much more. Real quick disclaimer, I am not licensed in anything having to do with the boobs and milk. I'm not a lactation consultant. Obviously, I'm going to just place a trigger warning. This is a very deep subject. It's a serious subject, very controversial, and easy for every woman to be very hard on themselves. If you know you're in a mood right now where you're taking everything negatively, you're beating up on yourself, I would suggest not watching this video until you are just in a better place in your mind. Start off with my experience. We'll start off with my plan, actually, the good stuff. My goal was to breastfeed for 6 months just because, I don't know, that number felt good. I wasn't gonna beat up on myself. I was okay with formula. Honestly, way before I even got pregnant, I also said I was gonna primarily pump. Then actual was I breastfed for a month and a half, and then he had a little bit of leftover milk, like a very little bit. Towards the end, it was very, very rare that I was actually nursing, and then I wasn't pumping as much. I was just too relaxed about it. I think that's really where I went wrong. I learned a lot of different things, and the things I'm going to tell you are going to help you on your journey and get a good start. So a lot of stuff starts in the hospital. Yes, the first 3 days do matter the most. That is why they're pushing the skin to skin and trying to attempt to not give you any formula. It's just going to tell your body, hey, make a crap ton of milk. The thing going around is no nipples except for the ones on your T-Tos for the first 3 weeks for your baby, so there's no nipple confusion, so they know where to go, right? Okay, let's talk about that. My son had a couple of bottles, and he still went back to the boob. I asked for that. I did get a lactation consultant first, but my son wasn't latching properly. He didn't have a tongue tie that they saw. His pediatrician, primary care doctor looked at it, didn't think he had a tongue tie. But that's how the lips are supposed to be on the boob. And he kept tucking them and tucking them. And he was just starting to scream. I didn't think he was getting enough. So ask your formula. If you've even seen the lactation consultant, you're just so frustrated, or you're just screaming and crying because you don't know what to do. You might feel really bad, but no, you're not the worst mother on the face of the earth because you gave your baby formula in the hospital. I would obviously say yes, try for the first 1 or 2 days. At least 2 days would be great. But if that's not what's for you, it's not for you. I could have tried just a little bit harder, just a little bit, but that's me being hard on myself. So also, as far as hurting, when they're latching, at first, it's going to be painful because they're not understanding it, and that's what I was told, and I think that's why the nurse told me that. I didn't know, oh, every time they latch, it's not supposed to be painful. I thought that. So I'm sitting here just doing this, curling my toes every time he latches on because it's the first 10 to 15 seconds, it's hurting. So I would look up something like the proper latching for breastfeeding and how that's supposed to go, and I'm not a pro. Go to a pro for that one. I obviously hope everybody to not get a really mean nurse or rude nurse that doesn't care and you don't feel like is listening to you. There are rotating nurses. I would assume you can't ask for a different nurse though. Try that and definitely say, hey, I want my baby to have formula for right this moment. I'm going to still breastfeed. Speak up. That is what I did. I found my voice in the hospital because I was not like that before having a baby. So when it comes to when you see the lactation consultant, ask for their number. How would you go about gaining another appointment with them if you have more questions? Do they have a phone line that you can just call with any questions? And definitely ask for breastfeeding support groups in the area and if you can go to one. I was offered one. I was always scared that, oh, I'm gonna have a newborn and he's gonna cry in public. I'll get flustered and I'll start crying. I just didn't want to be a whole mess. But if I went to one, they weigh your baby before and after you feed. They know the difference. They can tell you what's working, what's not working, so you can also know if your baby's getting the milk. But take all the help you can get when it comes to breastfeeding. Accept all of it, because YouTube videos are great, but man, they're not anything close to actually going to see a lactation consultant and getting questions answered from them. And yeah, you might have to pop your boob out a lot. Well, let's talk pumps. My favorite thing. Okay. Obviously, the ultimate top tier goal is the LV, the one that is wireless that you can put in your bra. That is goals, man, because you can go and clean and cook. You can tend to your child. You can get so much done. You don't even have to carry anything except for your kid around, maybe. The next best thing is, yes, one maybe that has like wires and you might have to carry something, but you put the batteries in and you don't use the plug-in, because worrying about where to plug in, also that's what like hurt my breastfeeding journey, was as soon as I went to work and they couldn't unlock an office, nobody would give me keys for, like, there was no mother's room I could go to. I tried to look in the bathroom and there was no plugs. And then I got really cheap Dollar Tree batteries, would not recommend, for my pump, and it didn't work. So I had the Lancino double breast electric pump. Not worrying about a plug is amazing, because you do want something electric, because your hand's gonna get tired. The other thing you're gonna definitely want is a manual pump. So you don't have to worry about getting the wires straightened. A single manual in the middle of the night, because you are gonna have rock hard boobs. It's gonna be hurting. It helps with that when you're just engorged in the middle of the night. And babies just, it's not time for baby to feed, but you're getting milk so fast. Be careful how much you're pumping, because if you're pumping too much, you're just gonna be engorged constantly, and then you're gonna have an oversupply. That's great and dandy, it's just you have to keep up with all that pump. So just keep that in mind. Just look into what seems like it's gonna work best for you, but I would just say not having something to plug in is key, because you are not a phone. You don't need to be charged. Anyway, I'm gonna get into, I'm not a big drinker, but if you know that's one of the first things you're excited to go do is drink, get alcohol test strips before you have the baby, because when you are drunk, tipsy, buzzed, or hungover, a Target run doesn't sound that great to get alcohol test strips for the breast milk. Just so you're not pumping and dumping too much milk that you don't have to. Let's talk about ice packs and heating pads. It can be heated and it can be frozen. I would say get 2 sets of them just to have on hand, because when you know you're about to breastfeed, I would put the heating ones in. It helps when you have a clogged duct or you have mastitis, it will help with that. Also, just rock hard engorged boobs, it helps the milk flow through. Have your heated set of TheraPearls right before you're about to nurse, then right after you nurse, ice packs. Just to ease, like if the baby was hurting them or if your baby's teething, like I would say keep them until you know you're done nursing, because of the teething, or it will just help with any sort of pain and just helps to cool it down. It's great. Thing to go with the ice packs for your boobs on your nipples, Medela Hydrogel. They look like nipple pasties, whatever. They're see-through and they stick to your nipples. You can reuse them, but they make your boobs feel so much less like they've just been pierced. Those and the ice packs will have you feeling, it's the next best thing to magic. So another thing as far as breastfeeding and actually nursing, a nipple shield. I was given one because my son kept tucking his lips and just kept not latching properly. It helps with an improper latch. Also, it will help with nipple confusion just because it looks a little bit more like a bottle nipple. So if you know they're about to have a bottle, but you're still gonna nurse them whenever you get home, definitely something to consider. Another thing that's gonna help with the pain of nipples is lanolin or lanolin. When you first see it, you're gonna think of petroleum gel, but it is thicker and it is a little more sticky, because the reason I'm telling you this, rub and warm that lanolin in your fingers a little bit before you spread it on your boobs. Do not use lotion, do not use petroleum jelly. It's going to clog your ducts. You're gonna have cracked and painful nipples at some point. The lanolin helps. Warm it up so you are not tugging at your nipples, because it's gonna hurt even more. Little things that I was not told, that I wish I was told. So when it comes to nursing covers, if you are gonna be that girl who really just does not want to show the world your boobs, okay? Like, I don't blame you. If it's not for a beer commercial, yes, the world's still kind of freaking out if they see a boob. If you're the nursing cover type, I would suggest against the ones that can also be like infinity scarves and car seat canopies. If you've had great experiences with that and you have no problems, get them, do it, have a great time. Me personally, I had a son who hated being swaddled, hated being confined. To this day, I think he's claustrophobic is what it is. I would put him in that. He would be so preoccupied with the fact that he feels very, very confined and would not focus on nursing. Also, like trying to pull that up and like I had to like stretch it, just trying to check on him and like get in there and move his arm, move his lips around and all that, because like tucking his lips was difficult. The cape style nursing covers, however, where you basically, it's like a bib kind of. You can get in through the side, adjust what you need to without trying to go in through the neck, and then they don't feel confined as bad and constricted as bad. This is the one that's going to change your life. You don't have to get divorced because you had a baby and you breastfed. Your boobs will still look like boobs after you started breastfeeding and after you've stopped breastfeeding. Not when your milk comes in though. They're not going to look exactly the same, but your husband won't be mad. Your wife, your partner won't be mad. The skin will get a little bit thinner, but girl, I thought when you breastfeed, and you breastfeed for too long, I can't speak for the ones breastfeeding till their kids are in high school. The ones for 5 years, I don't know. Ask them and talk to them. But I can tell you, I dried up at 4 months postpartum. I am now 10 months postpartum in. The skin has thickened up, but it's thin, like not as voluptuous as it used to be slightly, you know? They are not, in fact, not going to become 2-foot long deflated balloons that you roll into your bra or you fold into your bra. Cause girl, that's what I thought. I was not worried about my cooch after squeezing a larger than average sized baby head out of it. No, I wasn't even concerned whatsoever about that. I was concerned about my boobs cause my husband, he's a boob man. Oh man, I'm gonna make another video about this, but I got the daddy stitch. I got one of those. We can go into that in another video. It won't be this one. That is all the advice I have. If I surprised you with anything, let me know. Because I like to know I helped someone. I don't know. It's great. It's a good feeling. But if you have any questions you think I can answer, again, not licensed, leave it in the comments below. That is all for this video. And just remember, it's okay to breastfeed, and it's okay not to breastfeed. Your baby will be fed in the end either way. Until next time, be good and don't do bad stuff. You like eating the real food now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cutie booty.